Welcome to Whispers and Confessions. There might be a twist waiting, so please make sure to watch until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Let's begin right away.
Are you certain about this? Jason inquired, his voice laced with a mixture of concern and anticipation. 3 months ago, you embraced me with the tenderness of a devoted wife. Today, I yearn for you to hold me with the passion of a clandestine lover. Upon hearing those words, Jason's demeanor transformed. He enveloped me in his arms with a newfound intensity, his hands exploring my body with a fervor that spoke volumes of his long-suppressed desire. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Rachel, a 52-year-old woman married to Daniel, who is 58. Daniel, Jason, and Emma, Jason's wife, share a bond that stretches back to their childhood, having grown up together as if they were siblings. This close-knit relationship has persevered well into their adult years. When I married Daniel, I was welcomed into their circle, often regarded as the younger sister due to my slightly junior age. 3 months prior, we found ourselves facing a significant challenge. Our marriage had been grappling with a prolonged drought of physical intimacy. In a bold attempt to reignite our passion, we agreed to an unconventional solution, a week-long partner swap with our friends, Jason and Emma. That week proved to be both exhilarating and profoundly enlightening. I wish I could report that following that experience, our marital issues were resolved, and we've been passionately in love every night since. However, the stark reality is that in the 3 months that followed, we haven't shared a single intimate moment. Our bedroom remains as frigid as ever, a silent testament to our unresolved issues. Naturally, both Daniel and I maintain the facade that during that week, we merely cohabitated with our temporary partners, nothing more. We're both acutely aware that it's a fabrication, but there exists an unspoken agreement between us to avoid discussing the details of what truly transpired. However, a new complication has arisen. The week-long experiment awakened a dormant part of my being. Despite my earlier claims of nothing happening, the truth is that on the final night with Jason, we did indeed become intimate. That singular encounter was sufficient to reacquaint my body with the joy of physical connection. Ideally, this partner swap should have rekindled the passion for both of us, addressing our intimacy issues. Instead, it appears that only I have been awakened. I've made numerous attempts to seduce Daniel since, but he has rebuffed my advances at every turn. When I confronted him about the partner swap, questioning, what purpose did all of this serve? Wasn't it intended to be a catalyst for resolving our bedroom issues? Daniel dismissively replied, it was merely a bit of recreation. I was taken aback to hear him describe his wife's time with another man as mere recreation. But nothing truly occurred between you and Jason, correct? I probed. Daniel responded, of course not. And nothing transpired between Emma and me either. But deep in my heart, I thought, liar. Something undoubtedly happened with Emma. Due to these deceptions we've maintained from the outset, Daniel and I find ourselves incapable of delving deeper into the issue. Yet, once awakened, my sexual desires refuse to be silenced. If anything, my libido intensifies with each passing day. One night, consumed by frustration and unfulfilled desire, I dreamed of being embraced by countless strangers. The following Sunday morning, Daniel departed from our home, claiming he was going golfing. As soon as Daniel departed, I found myself irresistibly drawn to contact Jason. This is our first clandestine meeting, I whispered, my voice tinged with a mix of excitement and trepidation. Naturally, it's our little secret, Jason replied, his tone matching my own. I actually wanted to discuss something with you, Rachel. I nodded, feeling a flutter in my stomach. Coincidentally, I had something I wanted to talk about with you too. We retreated to the privacy of a hotel room, where the weight of our unspoken desires hung heavily in the air. I confided in Jason about the persistent intimacy issues with Daniel, even after our unconventional experiment. I'm at my wit's end, I confessed, my voice trembling. Since that day, it's as if a dormant part of me has awakened, and I can't control it. I've resorted to self-gratification every night, and today, I even dreamed of being embraced by countless strangers. Only with Jason, with whom I had shared a brief but intense connection, could I reveal such intimate vulnerabilities. To my surprise, he reciprocated with his own confession. "To be honest, I'm experiencing something similar," he admitted, his eyes meeting mine. "It's as if I've regressed to my teenage years. My desires are overwhelming." In fact, I had planned to visit a gentleman's club today, unbeknownst to Emma. The revelation that Jason and Emma were also grappling with unresolved intimacy issues struck me profoundly. What was even more disconcerting was the realization that post-swap, only Jason's libido had been reinvigorated. A surge of empathy and desire washed over me. A man seeking solace in a strip club? "That's hardly the solution," I murmured, my fingers already working at the buttons of my blouse. As I slowly revealed myself to Jason, I whispered, "If you're truly in such desperate need, perhaps I can offer a more personal alternative." 3 months had elapsed since Jason had last seen me in my most vulnerable state. The soft, amber glow of the hotel room's lighting cast intricate shadows across my skin, causing an involuntary shiver to course through my body. My heart raced with a mixture of anticipation and trepidation. "Rachel," Jason's voice was husky, laden with desire, yet tinged with hesitation. "Are you absolutely certain about this? We've crossed a line here. This isn't just partners swapping anymore. We're venturing into affair territory." His eyes, despite his cautious words, betrayed a hunger that mirrored my own. I met his gaze unflinchingly, my voice barely above a whisper. "Before, you held me with the gentleness reserved for a wife. Today, I want you to embrace me with the passion of a forbidden lover." The words hung in the air between us, electric with possibility. With a low growl, Jason closed the distance between us. His hands, calloused and strong, began to explore my body with a fervor that spoke of long-suppressed desire. Each caress along the curve of my waist sent jolts of electricity through my nervous system. The passion that had lain dormant for so long erupted like a volcano, consuming us both. Our bodies collided, a tangle of limbs and heated breaths. The warmth of his skin against mine sent tremors cascading through my entire being. "Ah, Jason," I moaned, the sound escaping unbidden from my lips. His touch grew bolder, more insistent, and I quivered beneath his ministrations. As his lips blazed a trail of fire down the column of my neck, an irresistible urge surged through me. My fingers traced the contours of his muscular back, and I inhaled deeply, intoxicated by his masculine scent. When Jason finally entered me, the sensation was so overwhelming that I nearly cried out from the sheer intensity of it. The exquisite fullness, tinged with a hint of delicious pain, defied description. Our movements became increasingly passionate, the room filling with the symphony of our labored breathing and the rhythmic creaking of the bed. "Rachel, you feel incredible." Jason's ragged breath tickled my ear, his voice dripping with raw desire. His words ignited a fresh wave of excitement within me. I dug my nails into the muscular plane of his back, pulling him impossibly closer. It felt as though years of pent-up longing were finally finding release, our bodies moving in perfect synchronicity. In that moment, the world outside ceased to exist. There was only us, only this. When my climax finally washed over me, it was Jason's name that escaped my lips in a breathless cry. My entire body trembled, waves of intense pleasure coursing through every fiber of my being. I clung to his shoulders, desperate to anchor myself amidst the tempest of sensation. A thrill unlike anything I'd ever experienced before rippled through me, and I wanted nothing more than to freeze this moment in time, to savor it fully. In the aftermath, we lay entwined, our heavy breathing the only sound disturbing the silence of the room. The air around us was thick with the lingering traces of our passion, a testament to the intensity of what we had just shared. 3 months ago, a single passionate encounter was enough to reignite a dormant flame within us, awakening long-suppressed desires. However, for Daniel and Emma, the facade of normalcy persisted, leaving us to question the true nature of their experience during that fateful week. The possibility that nothing transpired between them seems increasingly implausible, especially considering the years of unspoken feelings that likely simmered beneath the surface of their friendship. "Jason," I began, my voice tinged with curiosity, What did Emma say she was doing today? He met my gaze, a flicker of understanding passing between us. She mentioned meeting her girlfriends and returning late, he replied, his tone carefully neutral. I nodded, feeling a familiar knot forming in my stomach. Interesting. Daniel told me he's going golfing and won't be back until late as well. As we digested this information, a pregnant silence enveloped us, thick with unspoken suspicions. Don't you find it peculiar? I ventured, my words hanging in the air. Jason's brow furrowed, his eyes narrowing in contemplation. After a moment, he exhaled slowly. I think I understand now, he said, his voice low and measured. It's becoming clear. Those two, who knows how long it's been going on, but I'd wager they've been seeing each other for quite some time. A wave of relief washed over me, tinged with a bittersweet realization. Finally, I breathed, the pieces fall into place. Jason's lips quirked into a wry smile. Indeed. Perhaps we should consider careers as private investigators. His attempt at levity broke the tension, and I found myself chuckling despite the gravity of our discovery. I suppose, I mused, my fingers intertwining with his, this revelation gives us the freedom to pursue our own relationship without reservation. The words hung between us, laden with possibility and a hint of trepidation. In that moment, we made the unspoken decision to embark on a new chapter together. The irony wasn't lost on us. The very experiment intended to salvage our respective marriages had instead paved the way for their potential dissolution. As we contemplated the future, I couldn't help but wonder if we were hurtling towards an inevitable conclusion, divorce, followed by a reconfiguration of our relationships. The thought both thrilled and terrified me. Only time would tell if our impulsive decision would lead to lasting happiness or unforeseen complications.